Hello and welcome to Indulge Gadgets. The Nord series was a return to OnePlus's roots when it launched back in 2020. A breath of fresh air that shifted the conversation away from hardware and onto the overall experience of using a phone. Trouble is that conversation has gotten awfully busy with a slew of Nord launches, and the last 12 months alone have seen the brand launch the Nord CE, the Nord CE2, the Nord CE2 Lite, and the Nord 2 along with its fun-loving Pac-Man edition. Does the T avatar of the Nord 2, which comes with a full year after the Nord 2's launch, do enough to stand out from the pack in a meaningful manner? I'm Tushar Kanwar and let's find out in my full review of the OnePlus Nord 2T. But first, here's a lowdown on pricing and availability. The OnePlus Nord 2T went on sale on July 5th at Rs 28,999 for the 8GB 128GB version and Rs 33,999 for the 12GB 256GB version in Jade Fog and Grey Shadow color variants. Call it a chip off the old block or the apple not falling far from the tree, but there's way too much in common between the Nord 2T and its spiritual successor. Look at them straight on and there's very little to tell them apart. Now flip it over though, and while I do like the sandstone inspired matte finish texture and the good old alert slider on the side, the new camera housing is divisive at best and looks all out of whack with the proportions of the device. You get two large circles, one which houses the primary 50 megapixel camera and the other with an 8 megapixel ultra wide and the 2 megapixel mono lens. It's an odd look, and at least there's Gorilla Glass 5 protection on the front and back of the device, and there are capable stereo speakers to boot. OnePlus hasn't made any changes to the screen on the 2T, so you're getting the same 6.43-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED panel with 90Hz refresh rate as last year's model. While the panel can get reasonably bright outdoors at 800 nits and display bright punchy colors and deep blacks, it misses a trick or two by not upping the screen refresh rate to the du jour 120Hz. In essence, not much has changed on the display department since the first Nord, and while it may come down to a versus B component decision in keeping the phone to a strict budget, the lack of an upgrade in this area is an oversight. The Nord 2T is the first device to launch with MediaTek's Dimensity 1300 chip, which is a successor to the Dimensity 1200 used on the Nord 2. By and large, the performance gains were incremental at best, and seeing that the Dimensity 1300 is optimized for energy efficiency, sometimes a wee bit lower as well. Translated into everyday use, the phone performs at par with its peers and juggles multiple apps, browser tabs and games with ease. Apex Legends, Asphalt 9, Genshin Impact all did well on the phone, but this was on the 12GB RAM variant, so you might want to consider performance on the 8GB version if you're looking for that. The other hardware bump up is the 80-watt fast charging for the 4500 mAh battery, up from 65 watts on the Nord 2. You get a full battery in a little under 40 minutes, and this lasts a little over a day in my average to heavy testing workload, which includes watching some streaming media, playing the odd game and way too much Instagram. A lot of the performance comes down to the clean software the Nord 2T runs. Running Oxygen OS 12.1 based on Android 12 out of the box, the Nord 2T continues to be devoid of bloatware and ads that seem to be the norm for the segment. As with any recent OnePlus phone, the Nord 2T2 inherits some of the good bits from the ColorOS integration, such as the interface customization and the camera app, and the promise of 2 major Android updates and 3 years of security updates, though how timely OnePlus will be on that front remains yet to be seen. Now, OnePlus hasn't rocked the boat on the camera setup from the Nord 2, even if the same cannot be said about the actual design of that rear camera module. The Nord 2 was a quintessential OnePlus design. This one, not so much. With the 50 megapixel Sony IMX766 primary camera with OIS, an 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor and a 2 megapixel mono lens, the Nord 2T takes similar shots as the Nord 2, which is to say, good dynamic range and detail in daylight shots with somewhat oversaturated colors that are people pleasers if not for photography purists. The low light shots were decent as well, and the night mode, available only on the primary shooter, only helps boost these results. The ultra wide on the other hand suffers from a warmer tone, and there's some degree of color science differences with the primary shooter, but it's usable. The mono sensor is one of those triple camera padding decisions, and I'd much have preferred a more usable macro or a telephoto shooter. It's a good camera for the category without a doubt. Incremental upgrades by way of the Dimensity 1300 chip and slightly faster charging, and then there's the polarizing new rear panel and camera module. The Nord 2T doesn't really move the needle significantly over the very capable Nord 2, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The Nord 2 continues to be an excellent choice for the money, and it's likely to be selling for somewhat cheaper. Given that it's pretty much the same phone, you could opt for that if there's a great deal. This segment is likely to see a lot of action by way of the Nothing Phone 1 and the upcoming Pixel 6a, so you're going to want to wait for those before pulling the trigger on the Nord 2T. We hope you enjoyed our review of the Nord 2T, and if you did, please consider liking and sharing this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the Indulge Express YouTube channel for more such tech videos.